Take off your wet uniform. 5 words. The American officer's breath fogs in the frozen air. Renate Messner, 23, feels her spine lock. Behind her, 17 women stop breathing. He opens his coat, steps forward. This is it. 378 German women captured this week across the Ardennes sector. Only 12 have dry clothes. Hypothermia kills in 3 hours at this temperature. Renate has been wet for 6. She knows what comes next. Every woman here knows. Die Amerikaner nehmen sich, was sie wollen. Zuerst den Körper, dann die Würde, dann den Rest. The Americans take what they want. First the body, then the dignity, then the rest. Goebbels said it himself, broadcast it on every radio, printed it on every leaflet dropped behind Allied lines. 100%. That was the number. Every captured woman, no exceptions. Renate's fingers are blue. Her wool uniform clings to her ribs like a second skin. Frozen, heavy, wrong. The fabric hasn't been dry in 4 days. Neither has she. The officer takes another step. His boots crunch on frozen mud. The sound is too loud in the silence. Brigitte Wendt, 19, grabs Renate's arm. Her grip is ice and bone, no flesh left. They marched 200 kilometers to get here. Brigitte lost her boots on day 3. She's been walking in dead men's shoes since. The officer's hand moves to his collar. More buttons. Renate's throat closes. She wants to run, but her legs won't move. She wants to scream, but her voice is frozen somewhere behind her sternum, trapped with everything else she's lost. The coat opens wider. She sees the lining, brown wool, dry, warm. And then he does something that breaks her brain. He steps backward. The coat comes off his shoulders. He holds it out, not toward himself, but toward Brigitte, the youngest, the smallest, the one shaking so hard her teeth sound like dice in a cup. For her. His German is terrible, accent thick as engine grease. Warm, ja? Renate doesn't understand. The propaganda never mentioned this. The training never covered this. The whispers in the barracks, all the things women told each other about what capture meant, none of it included a man giving away his own coat. Brigitte doesn't take it. She's frozen, not from cold, from confusion. The officer looks at Renate. His eyes are exhausted, human. Please, she'll die. And then he says something else, something that makes even less sense. Blankets, dry ones, now. He's screaming, but not at them. The American officer, Renate, will learn. His name is Lieutenant Marcus Cole, 29, from a place called Ohio, is shouting at his own soldiers. His voice cracks on the second word. Spit flies from his lips. A private sprints through the mud. His boots send frozen slush spraying against the wooden barracks wall. The sound is wet, urgent, alive. Renate doesn't move, neither do the others. Warum schreit seine eigenen Männer an? Wir sind doch der Feind. Why is he yelling at his own men? We are the enemy. Geneva Convention, 1929. Prisoners of war must receive dry clothing within 4 hours of capture. Renate doesn't know this. She doesn't know that American compliance runs at 94%. She doesn't know that somewhere in a Pentagon filing cabinet there's a directive signed by Eisenhower himself about hypothermia prevention. All she knows is that an enemy officer just gave away his coat and is now screaming for blankets like lives depend on it. Private Diego Herrera, 21, returns with his arms full. Gray wool. U.S. Army issue. The blankets smell like mothballs and diesel, 2 scents that will mean safety to Renate for the rest of her life. Cole grabs them, counts them, curses. 17 women, 12 blankets, get more. Herrera runs again. Sergeant Vivian Cross, 32, appears in the doorway. She's the only American woman Renate has seen since capture. Her uniform is pressed. Her hair is pinned. Her eyes scan the room like she's counting casualties. Status? Hypothermia risk on at least 6. Cole's voice is flatter now, professional. The small one, he points at Brigitte, still wrapped in his coat. She's the worst. Fingers are gray. Cross walks toward the women. Her boots are different from the men's, quieter. She stops in front of Renate. Sprechen Sie English? Renate's brain stutters. The German is accented wrong. Milwaukee vowels mixed with military diction. It sounds like home and foreign at the same time. Ein wenig, Renate manages. A little. Cross nods. Good, you translate. Tell them no one is going to hurt them. Medical exam in 1 hour. Dry clothes after. Questions? Renate translates. The words feel like lies in her mouth. But the blankets are real. The coat on Brigitte's shoulders is real. And then Cross says something that stops Renate's heart. Tell them I'll be present for everything. No men in the room. Brigitte won't let go of the coat. Lieutenant Cole reaches for it, gently, palm up, the way you'd approach a wounded dog, and she screams. The sound is animal, raw. It echoes off the wooden walls and dies somewhere in the frozen air outside. Cole steps back. His hands go up. Surrender. Okay. She keeps it. Corporal Annalise Brandt, 27, watches from the corner. She was born in Dusseldorf, trained in signals, captured 3 days ago when her unit's radio truck hit a mine. She hasn't spoken since. Now she speaks. Sie denkt, wenn sie den Mantel auszieht, passiert das andere. She thinks if she takes off the coat, the other thing happens, Renate translates. Cole's face changes. Something behind his eyes. Recognition, then something darker. The other thing, he repeats. His voice is very quiet. 83%. That's the number Renate will learn later. 83% of German women POWs reported expecting sexual assault upon capture. The Reich's propaganda machine worked with factory efficiency. 100% they were told. Every woman, no exceptions. Cole runs a hand over his face. When it drops, his jaw is set. Get Sergeant Cross, now! Vivian Cross arrives in 90 seconds. She takes one look at Brigitte, coat clutched to her chest, eyes wide, breath coming in shallow gasps, and crouches to her level. She speaks German, slowly, each word deliberate. Der Mantel gehört dir. Niemand nimmt ihn dir weg. Niemand fasst dich an. Verstehst du? The coat is yours. No one takes it. No one touches you. Understand? Brigitte's breathing slows. Not normal, but slower. Cross stays crouched. Was es dein Name? Brigitte. The word is a whisper. Brigitte, ich bin Vivian. Ich bleibe bei dir, die ganze Zeit. I'm Vivian. I stay with you, the whole time. Something cracks in Brigitte's face. Not breaking, thawing. Her grip on the coat loosens. Just a fraction. Cole watches from the doorway. His coat is gone. He's shivering now. Herrera offers him a blanket. He waves it off. Give it to them. Renate notices his hands. They're shaking, not from cold, from something else. Zittert wie wir, aber nicht vor Kälte. He's trembling like us, but not from cold. Cross stands, looks at Cole. Something passes between them, a conversation and glances. She needs medical. Now. Cole nods. The coat stays on her. Obviously. But when they move toward the medical tent, Brigitte freezes again, because a man is standing in the doorway. The man is holding a clipboard. That's what Renate sees first. Not a weapon, not restraints. A clipboard with paper flapping in the wind that's leaking through the tent seams. Captain Henrik Janssen, 34, U.S. Army Medical Corps, Dutch parents. Speaks German with an Amsterdam accent that makes the women blink. I'm the doctor, he says in German. I wait outside until Sergeant Cross calls me. Yes? He doesn't enter. He stands in the cold, clipboard against his chest, breath fogging in rhythmic clouds. Waiting. Renate counts. 1 minute, 2, 3. Brigitte's shoulders drop half an inch. Now, Cross says. Janssen enters. Slow movements. Hands visible at all times. He sets the clipboard on a wooden crate and pulls out a tongue depressor, a flat wooden stick that looks absurdly harmless. Öffne den Mund, bitte. Open your mouth, please. Brigitte's jaw locks. Her eyes cut to Renate. Renate translates what she sees. He's checking for tuberculosis, just your tongue and throat, no touching. Nur ein Holzstäbchen. Wir dachten, just a wooden stick. We thought, she doesn't finish. She doesn't have to. 12%. That's the TB positive rate among German POWs that winter. All receive treatment. The ones who refuse are not forced. They're asked again and again, until they understand that medicine here is not a weapon. Jansen examines Brigitte in 90 seconds. Her tongue, her throat, her lymph nodes, through the coat, fingers barely pressing. He writes something on the clipboard. Healthy, he says. Next. One by one, the women step forward. Renate goes fifth. The tongue depressor tastes like clean wood. The flashlight is bright but brief. Jansen's hands never go where they shouldn't. When he reaches Anneliese, the one who hasn't spoken since Brigitte's scream, he pauses. You're the signals operator? She nods, once. Your hands, he gestures. May I? She extends them slowly. Her fingers are blistered. Some blisters have burst. The exposed skin is raw and weeping. Frostbite, stage 2. Jansen's voice is clinical, but not cold. Treatable, but you need to tell me if you lose feeling, yes? Anneliese looks at her hands like she's never seen them before. Will mir helfen. Mir, dem Feind. He wants to help me, the enemy. Jansen wraps her hands in clean gauze, white against her gray skin. She stares at the bandages like they're made of something impossible. Why? She whispers in English. Jansen pauses, looks at her. Because I'm a doctor. But there's more. Renate can see it in his eyes, and so can Cross. My sister. 2 words. Cole's voice cracks on the second one. He's standing outside the medical tent, arms crossed, shivering without his coat. Renate has followed him. She doesn't know why. Maybe because he's the only one who's given something away and asked for nothing back. 1938, he says. Wisconsin. Car broke down. Blizzard came. He stops, swallows. She was 21. Renate's English is halting, but she understands. Cole's sister died of hypothermia, frozen in a broken-down car while the snow buried the roads and the world kept turning. 2 hours and 47 minutes. That's how long his sister survived. Cole will recite this number in his sleep for the rest of his life. That's why you joined Medical Corps? He nods, doesn't look at her. His eyes are fixed on something far away, Wisconsin maybe, or a car buried in snow. Hat auch jemanden verloren, wie wir. He lost someone too, like us. The realization hits Renate like a physical blow. This man standing in front of her, shivering in his undershirt because he gave his coat to a German prisoner, he's not performing kindness. He's running from a ghost. Brigitte, Renate says. She reminds you of her, your sister. Cole's jaw tightens. Same age, same eyes, same... He shakes his head. I couldn't save my sister. I can save her. Hypothermia mortality, 3 hours at 35 degrees in wet conditions. Cole's sister died 13 minutes short of that threshold. 13 minutes, the time it takes to drink a cup of coffee, to write a letter, to give up. You gave her your coat, Renate says. You're cold now. I'll survive cold. His voice is flat. She won't. Private Herrera appears with another blanket. This time Cole takes it, wraps it around his shoulders. The wool is rough and smells like storage. Why are you out here? He asks Renate. She doesn't have an answer, not one that makes sense. She's standing outside a medical tent in enemy territory, talking to a man who should be her captor, but feels like something else entirely. I wanted to know, she finally says, why you're doing this. Cole looks at her, really looks. His eyes are red-rimmed and tired and old in ways that have nothing to do with age. Because someone should have done it for her. Inside the tent, Brigitte laughs. The sound is small and broken and beautiful. Cole's shoulders drop. There it is. But Renate is still frozen, because behind Cole, Sergeant Cross is walking toward them, and her face says something is wrong. We need to talk about what they told you. Cross stands in front of 17 women. The medical exams are done. The blankets are distributed. The immediate crisis has passed. But something is still rotting in the room. Sie wollen wissen, was wir glauben, was wir erwarten, was wir fürchten. They want to know what we believe, what we expect, what we fear. Renate translates Cross's words, but she also translates what Cross is not saying. The Americans have realized that their prisoners are operating on information that isn't just wrong. It's designed to kill. Tell me, Cross says, what did they tell you happens to women when Americans capture them? Silence, the kind that has weight. Then Margot Fleischer, 31, career soldier, former Hitler Youth leader, speaks. Her voice is cold and precise, like a blade being sharpened. 100%. Das haben sie gesagt. Jede gefangene Frau. Vergewaltigung, Folter, Tod. Keine Ausnahmen. 100%. That's what they said. Every captured woman. Rape, torture, death, no exceptions. Cross doesn't flinch. But her hands, clasped behind her back, go white at the knuckles. Who told you this? Goebbels. Margot's lip curls. Radio broadcasts, leaflets, training films. They showed us footage, American soldiers, faces blurred, doing things to French women, to Polish women. Cross is quiet for a long moment. The footage was staged, she finally says. German actresses, German film crews, shot in Bavaria. Margot's face doesn't change, but something behind her eyes flickers. We know this now? You know this now. 0.02%. That's the actual documented rate of sexual assault in U.S. POW custody that month. 0.02, not 100, not 50, not 10. But how do you unlearn what you've been taught to believe in your bones? Renate watches the other women. Brigitte is still wrapped in Cole's coat. Anneliese is staring at her bandaged hands. The youngest ones, the 19-year-olds, the ones who grew up marinating in Reich propaganda since childhood, look like they've been slapped. Wir haben ihnen geglaubt, jahrelang. Wir haben ihnen alles geglaubt. We believed them, for years. We believed everything. Cross takes a breath. I'm not going to tell you that every American soldier is a saint. Some of them aren't. But the policy is clear. Anyone who touches a prisoner without consent faces court-martial. Minimum. Sentence is 10 years, she pauses. Lets that sink in. Maximum is death. Margot's mouth opens, closes, opens again. You execute your own soldiers? If they rape prisoners, yes. The room is completely silent, and then Margot asks the question no one expected. What about your women? Margot's voice is steady, but her hands are not. What do you mean? Cross asks. Ich meine, wenn eure Soldaten so etwas tun, was passiert mit euren Krankenschwestern, euren Sekretärinnen, euren eigenen Frauen in uniform? I mean, if your soldiers do such things, what happens to your nurses, your secretaries, your own women in uniform? Cross is silent for 3 full seconds. Renate counts them against her heartbeat. It happens, Cross finally says. Not often, but it happens. The admission lands like a grenade. Renate expects the German women to seize on this, proof that Americans are no different, that the propaganda was right, that enemies are enemies regardless of what coats they give away. But Margot nods slowly, like she's solving a puzzle. You punish them, your own men, for crimes against your own women. Yes. And for crimes against enemy women? The same punishment. Margot looks at the other prisoners. Something passes between them, a conversation in glances that Renate can read, but Cross cannot. Sie behandeln uns wie ihre eigenen Frauen. Das ist es. Das ist der Unterschied. They treat us like their own women. That's it. That's the difference. Sergeant Cross doesn't understand the German, but she understands the change in the room, the shoulders dropping, the breath releasing, the fists unclenching. One more thing, she says. Tomorrow you'll be transferred to a permanent facility, women only, female guards, female medical staff. The nearest male soldier will be 50 meters away at all times. Geneva Convention Article 29. Female prisoners must be separated from males by minimum 50 meters. American compliance rate, 97%. Brigitte raises her hand. The gesture is so unexpected, so schoolgirl, so normal, that Renate almost laughs. Yes? Der Mann, der mir seinen Mantel gegeben hat. Lieutenant Cole. Sehe ich ihn wieder? The man who gave me his coat. Lieutenant Cole. Will I see him again? Cross pauses. Do you want to? Brigitte thinks about this. Her fingers tighten on the coat's collar. I want to return it. He doesn't want it back. I know. Brigitte's voice is small but steady. But I want to thank him, properly, in a way that he can understand. Cross looks at her for a long moment, then nods. I'll arrange it, but not today. Today, you rest. The women are led to a sleeping barracks, cots with mattresses, clean sheets. Renate lies down. The pillow smells like laundry soap, but she can't sleep, because Anneliese is sitting upright, staring at her bandaged hands, crying without sound. Anneliese's hands are the problem, not the frostbite. Dr. Janssen treated that. The gauze is clean, the salve is working, the circulation is returning. In 3 weeks, she'll have full use of her fingers. The problem is what her hands did before. Ich habe Befehle getippt, Koordinaten, Truppenbewegungen, Angriffspläne. I typed orders, coordinates, troop movements, attack plans. Renate sits beside her on the cot. It's past midnight. The other women are asleep, or pretending to be. Brigitte is curled around Cole's coat like a child with a stuffed animal. You were a signals operator, Renate says. You followed orders. Anneliese shakes her head. The tears have dried, leaving salt tracks on her cheeks. I knew what the orders meant. I knew what happened after I typed them. She stares at her bandaged fingers. These hands sent men to die, thousands of them. And now American doctors are saving them. Renate doesn't have an answer. What do you say to someone drowning in guilt you can't reach? The Americans don't know what you typed. That's worse. Anneliese's voice cracks. They're saving hands that killed their brothers, their fathers, their sons. 14,000. That's the estimated Allied death toll from operations Anneliese helped coordinate. She doesn't know this number, but she knows the weight of it. It sits on her chest like a stone that keeps growing. You could have refused, Renate says carefully. Anneliese laughs. The sound is hollow. Refused? They shot Elke Braun for refusing to type a single order, put a bullet in her head in front of the whole unit. I watched her fall. I typed the next order with her blood still on my boots. Renate is silent. There's nothing to say. Wir sind keine Unschuldigen, aber sie behandeln uns, als wären wir es. We are not innocent, but they treat us like we are. The barracks door opens. Cross appears, flashlight in hand. Everything okay? Renate hesitates. She's struggling. Cross approaches, sits on the edge of the cot. Her movements are slow and deliberate, the same way Janssen moved in the medical tent. Non-threatening. Human. What's her name? Anneliese. Cross looks at the bandaged hands, then at Anneliese's face. Something in her expression shifts. Recognition, maybe. Or memory. My brother was at Bastogne, Cross says quietly. He didn't come home. Anneliese's face crumbles. I'm sorry. I'm not telling you to apologize. Cross's voice is steady. I'm telling you so you understand. I know who you are, and I'm still here. Anneliese stares at her, doesn't speak, can't speak. Because what do you say when your enemy offers you the only thing you can't earn? Clean clothes, the first in 19 days. The quartermaster's tent smells like canvas and starch. Private Lucia Delgado, 23, is handling distribution. Her Spanish accent makes her English soft, almost musical. She hands each woman a folded bundle, undershirt, trousers, jacket, U.S. Army issue, olive drab. Renate holds the uniform against her chest. The fabric is stiff and new and warm in a way that feels impossible. Neue Kleider. Trockene Kleider. Ich habe vergessen, wie das ist. New clothes. Dry clothes. I forgot what this feels like. But not everyone is grateful. Thea Oberhaus, 42, is the oldest prisoner. She served in the Wehrmacht since 1939. Infantry support, Supply lines, 2 iron crosses. When Delgado hands her the bundle, she doesn't take it. I keep my uniform. Delgado blinks. Ma'am, your uniform is wet and torn. You'll get sick. I keep my uniform. Ich bin immer noch deutsche Soldatin. Das können Sie mir nicht nehmen. I am still a German soldier. They cannot take that from me. Cross appears in the tent entrance. She takes in the scene. Thea standing rigid, uniform clutched against her chest, jaw set like concrete. Let her keep it. Delgado hesitates. Regulations say, she keeps it. Cross's voice is final. Issue her dry clothes. She can wear whatever she wants. Thea stares at Cross. Something flickers in her eyes. Surprise, maybe, or confusion. 47%. That's the number of German female POWs who kept at least one item from their Wehrmacht uniform, most common, insignia patches. Second, letters from home. Third, photographs of lovers who might already be dead. Thea takes the American uniform, puts it on over her German one. The layers are bulky, awkward, but her insignia patches are still visible at the collar. Her iron crosses still hang beneath the olive drab. Renate changes in the corner. The new fabric feels foreign against her skin, too smooth, too clean. She's been wearing the same wool for so long that comfort feels like a betrayal. Brigitte still has Cole's coat. She puts the American uniform on beneath it. When Delgado tries to take the coat for cleaning, Brigitte's hands tighten. She keeps it, Cross says again. The women file out of the quartermaster's tent, clean, dry, warm for the first time in weeks. Renate catches Thea watching her. The old soldier's eyes are unreadable. Sie geben uns Kleidung. Aber die Frage bleibt, was wollen Sie dafür? They give us clothing, but the question remains, what do they want in return? Renate doesn't have an answer, not yet. But tomorrow she'll get one, 4 months later. Frankfurt. A package arrives at a U.S. Army field hospital. Lieutenant Marcus Cole is checking inventory when Private Herrera hands him the box. Brown paper, string, no return address. He opens it. The coat. His coat. The one he gave to Brigitte in a frozen Belgian barracks when her fingers were gray and her eyes held nothing but the certainty of what comes next. There's something else inside. A letter, folded small, sewn into the lining with careful stitches. Cole tears the thread carefully, unfolds the paper. 2 languages, German on the left, English on the right. The English is imperfect but readable. Translated by Renate, Brigitte will later tell him. Lieber Lieutenant Cole, Dear Lieutenant Cole, you gave me your coat when I expected something else. Every woman in that barracks expected something else we were told you would take. Instead, you gave. I don't know how to repay this. I don't know if I can. But I wanted you to know what it meant. When you opened your coat, I heard strip. When you stepped back, I heard impossible. When you said warm, I heard a word I didn't know enemies could say. I am working now. Hospital aid, Frankfurt, helping soldiers, American, British, French, German, all of them, the way you helped me. The coat kept me alive that night, but what happened after, the blankets, the doctor, Sergeant Cross, the uniform, that kept something else alive? Something I thought was dead. I am returning your coat because I don't need it anymore, not because I'm not cold, but because I finally believe that if I get cold again, someone will help. Thank you for all of it. Brigitte Wendt. Cole holds the letter for a long time. His hands don't shake, but something behind his eyes does. Sie haben uns nicht genommen, was wir fürchteten. Sie haben uns gegeben, was wir nicht verdient haben. They did not take what we feared. They gave what we did not deserve. 340 German female POWs from that winter volunteered for Allied reconstruction work. Brigitte and Renate among them, Anneliese too, her bandaged hands now holding scalpels, assisting surgeons, saving lives instead of ending them. Cole hangs the coat in his closet. The letter stays inside. Some truths don't need translation. Take off your wet uniform. 5 words. Brigitte heard assault. Coal meant survival. The distance between what propaganda teaches and what humanity proves is sometimes measured in blankets, wooden tongue depressors, and a coat that found its way home with a letter stitched inside.